thought that many other players played a part in the, engagement and growing of the league. And I'm here to tell you that is not the truth. The truth of the matter is one player single-handedly helped keep this main thing afloat. And I'm telling you right now, when that young lady is not on the basketball court, the engagement and the interest in this league has simply went away. All across the board, all across the league, you can see viewership numbers down, which I'll probably do a whole nother video later on talking about that. But Caitlin Clark single-handedly impacted this thing.
The WNBA faces significant challenges with declining viewership and engagement during Caitlin Clark's absence from competition. League statistics demonstrate substantial drops in television ratings and digital platform interactions, indicating Clark's outsized influence on fan interest and media consumption patterns. Data reveals that Clark's impact extends far beyond individual performance metrics, affecting overall league visibility across multiple platforms. Without her presence on courts, viewing numbers have decreased dramatically, suggesting heavy dependence on single-player marketability for maintaining audience engagement throughout the season. The decline contradicts earlier assumptions that multiple players contributed equally to league growth and popularity.
Impacted this thing majorly. Now, something else that I believe that might have caused a distaste for this league was simply the very first game. Now, we ultimately know that very first game was against the Chicago Sky and the Angel Reese. In that specific game, there was a lot of drama. There was a lot of lying. Now, we ultimately know what happened with the lies. The lies that was being told about the Indiana Fever fan.
Evidence indicates one athlete's involvement fundamentally determines audience participation levels, highlighting structural vulnerabilities in marketing strategy and fan development approaches within professional women's basketball. A controversial investigation regarding alleged racist behavior during the May 17th Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever matchup has significantly impacted public perception. The WNBA conducted extensive reviews following reported incidents, examining fan conduct, staff interactions, and available audio-visual evidence from the contested game. Official statements released by league headquarters address concerns about discriminatory behavior near court areas during the Chicago game. Investigation findings, based on comprehensive interviews with attendees, team personnel, arena staff, and detailed footage analysis, ultimately failed to substantiate initial allegations of inappropriate fan conduct.
Now, we ultimately know what happened with the lies that was being told about the Indiana Fever fan base. And I'm telling you right now, I've been talking to fans all over the nation pretty much today, just trying to get ideas for videos, and everybody keep going back to this one specific issue, and that issue is that damn WNBA investigation. Now, we ultimately know the investigation didn't spark anything. It was just a bunch of drama that held itself pretty much hostage for like nearly a month.
The investigation process extended nearly 1 month, creating sustained controversy and negative publicity for the organization. This prolonged examination period generated ongoing debate about league handling of sensitive situations and appropriate response protocols for addressing discrimination claims within professional sports environments. Angel Reese's public statements during the controversy drew significant attention and scrutiny from media outlets and fan communities. Video documentation contradicted certain claims made during the initial reporting phase, leading to questions about accuracy and transparency in addressing alleged incidents. Independent content analysis revealed inconsistencies between reported events and available evidence, challenging the credibility of initial accusations.
Hostage for like nearly a month. Now, let's head on over to X, right? Let me pull this up here. So, now that's a whole nother investigation. Now, people was talking, even Jason Willow was talking about this should have been investigated, right? But this right here. The WNBA today issued the following statement regarding the Chicago Sky at Indiana Fever game on May the 17th. We have
This documentation, receiving over 100,000 views across platforms, demonstrated gaps between public statements and verifiable facts regarding the contested game situation. The timing of these revelations, occurring immediately after the season opener, created lasting negative impressions among potential viewers. Many fans expressed disappointment with league management of the situation, leading to decreased interest in subsequent games and reduced engagement with WNBA programming overall. Public response to the investigation has been overwhelmingly negative, with many supporters expressing frustration about misleading information and inadequate fact-checking procedures. The controversy has damaged relationships between the league and significant portions of its fan base, particularly those supporting Indiana Fever.
Statement regarding the Chicago Sky at Indiana Fever game on May the 17th. We have investigated the reported racist fan behavior in the vicinity of the court during the May 17th game at the Chicago Sky, based on the information gathered to date, including from relevant fans, team, and arena staff, as well as audio and video review of the game. We have not sustained it. The WNBA is committed to fostering a safe environment and blah, 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 blah. Now, I believe this said action.
Angel Reese addressed media questions about the investigation's impact on her performance and mental state during games. She emphasized support received from league officials, teammates, and organizational leadership throughout the examination process, while acknowledging emotional difficulties associated with the situation. During interviews, Reese highlighted her strong support network and faith-based coping mechanisms for managing stress related to the controversy. She praised the WNBA's commitment to player safety and organizational backing, expressing gratitude for communication received from various league stakeholders. League officials implemented immediate response protocols, launching investigations shortly after initial reports surfaced.
This said action right here is why this season is bad. This happened the very first damn game. Like, did we all forget that very first game? Hell, I even made a video about it. About this game and about. Let me skip past this. Let's check this out.
This rapid action demonstrated organizational commitment to addressing discrimination concerns, though subsequent findings raised questions about the thoroughness of preliminary assessments before initiating formal proceedings. The investigation's conclusion without substantiated findings has created additional complications for league credibility and public trust. Critics argue that inadequate initial verification processes led to unnecessary controversy and damaged relationships with key demographic groups essential for long-term growth. Current viewership data reflects significant declines across multiple measurement categories, including television ratings, streaming platform engagement, and social media interaction levels. These decreases extend beyond individual content creators to encompass league-wide programming and promotional activities.
Let's check this out. Oh, so this was the footage here. So my video here, this was the footage that released that pretty much told the world, which that video is currently over 100,000 views, told the world that Angel Reese pretty much lied. Now that there should have been enough. The game was May 17th. I released this May 18th.
The absence of compelling storylines, highlight-worthy performances, and signature moments has contributed to reduced fan interest during Clark's injury recovery period. Without her dynamic playing style and media presence, the league struggles to maintain momentum gained during previous seasons. Traditional engagement metrics demonstrate widespread disinterest among casual viewers who initially discovered women's basketball through Clark's college and professional performances. This demographic retreat represents substantial revenue losses and missed opportunities for expanding the sport's audience base. Analysis suggests the May 17th controversy created lasting damage to league reputation among key fan segments.
May 17th, I released this May 18th. Now, in that same train of thought, you would think, the WNBA would have done a thing. Now, this was Angel here. Now, you would think the WNBA would have done his thing and kind of not making this a big thing, but they didn't. They dropped the ball, and hence this is why we're here today. Let's listen to this.
Yeah.
Many supporters expressed feeling alienated by perceived unfair treatment of their preferred team and player, leading to decreased willingness to invest time and money in WNBA programming. The combination of Clark's absence and controversial investigation findings has created perfect storm conditions for declining interest. These factors reinforce each other, amplifying negative impacts on viewership, attendance, and overall league engagement across traditional and digital platforms. Recovery from these challenges requires addressing both immediate concerns about competitive product quality and longer-term reputation management issues. The league must rebuild trust with alienated fan bases while developing strategies to maintain interest during star player absences.
Or just quitting on the team?
Obviously coming back here for the first time, how have you seen her fit in with Phoenix and what the game plan against her?
I think she's fit in perfectly with Phoenix. I mean, she does a really good job. You know, her and AT play so well together. And she does a really good job of adding a different dimension with her ability to be that stretch four, to complement, and her and Satya being able to play on the floor at the same time with AT. You know, she's comfortable there. She's comfortable in that system. It's going to be different to game plan against her. Her and AT both, really, honestly, after having been on the sideline.
Officiating decisions and game management approaches have drawn increased scrutiny following the investigation controversy. Critics argue that preferential treatment patterns and inconsistent rule enforcement contribute to ongoing credibility problems within the organization. The situation demonstrates vulnerabilities in league crisis management capabilities and public relations strategies. Future incidents requiring investigation may benefit from more thorough preliminary fact-checking and transparent communication protocols to avoid similar controversies. Long-term implications include potential difficulties in attracting new sponsors, negotiating broadcast agreements, and expanding international market presence.
Her and AT both, really, honestly, after having been on the sideline with them for a couple of years, it's going to be different to game plan against her. But I'm glad that she's happy, and I'm glad that she's found her spot.
I'm not joking when I say this. Like, look, I actually, it's one thing. It's one thing when it comes to Stephanie White, like, not wanting to cause any drama. But, like, Stephanie White literally was asked about Caitlin Clark's effect on the growth of the game, and she started talking about Stewie and Aja Wilson. Like,
the controversy's impact on league reputation may persist beyond current season challenges, affecting future growth opportunities and strategic partnerships. Addressing these concerns requires comprehensive reform of investigation procedures, improved communication strategies, and renewed focus on fair play principles. The league must demonstrate commitment to accurate reporting and equitable treatment of all stakeholders to restore public confidence and rebuild damaged relationships with key constituencies. Recent discussions surrounding Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White's comments about former player DeWanna Bonner have generated considerable debate within basketball circles. The situation involves Bonner's departure from Indiana and subsequent success with the Phoenix Mercury, along with White's public statements regarding her former player.
Stewie and Aja Wilson. Like, I just don't like Stephanie White. Like, I don't think she's a bad basketball coach. I just don't. I think she's a boring basketball coach. I think she's an extremely boring basketball coach. I think the style of play she wants to play is like watching paint dry. I think she's a good basketball coach. I'll be honest here. Like, I think she's actually a good coach. I just don't like watching her play. I don't like watching her teams play. I think it's one of those things where it's like, she said all the right things.
When questioned about Bonner's performance and integration with Phoenix, White expressed positive sentiments about her former player's adaptation to the Mercury system. She highlighted Bonner's effectiveness as a stretch forward and her chemistry with teammates, particularly noting how comfortable Bonner appears in Phoenix's offensive scheme. White acknowledged that preparing game plans against Bonner would present unique challenges given her familiarity with the player's abilities from their time working together. Critics have questioned whether White's diplomatic approach represents genuine sentiment or calculated public relations messaging. Some observers suggest that White's tendency to provide politically correct responses while potentially operating differently behind closed doors creates credibility concerns.
She said all the right things, and then the team do the opposite. Caitlin Clark's talked about having to, I need to push it more. Like, I have to, basically having to go against the coaches. She's almost thrown them under the bus for wanting to play slower. Like, DeWanna Bonner stretch four. The Indiana Fever will never win another title with Stephanie White as head coach and might lose Kate at the end of next season if she demands a trade. That was the right thing to say. There's just so much more to the story DB and the Fever no one's talking about. Like, I don't know, maybe it turns out they...
This perception has been reinforced by previous instances where White's public statements appeared inconsistent with subsequent team actions. The Bonner situation has highlighted broader questions about coaching authenticity and player relationships within professional basketball. Bonner was considered a marquee signing for Indiana, with her contract affecting the team's roster construction and salary cap flexibility. Her eventual departure after a brief tenure raised questions about team chemistry, coaching philosophy, and organizational direction.
Talking about, like, I don't know, maybe it turns out they've got a good relationship, but, like, let's not forget, she used Indy to get DB her money and into a better situation. Like, that's basically it. Team doesn't have a backbone because they got scammed and praising her. I agree. I actually agree. I'm sorry, like, there's such this weird thing in the WNBA where you're not allowed to treat it like it's a sport. Like, you've got Cheryl Reeve, they said Emma chose New York, and she goes, it's the wrong choice. She made the wrong choice. There is any sort of an answer.
White's coaching style has drawn mixed reactions from observers. While many acknowledge her tactical competence and basketball knowledge, some find her preferred pace of play and offensive systems less entertaining than alternative approaches. The contrast between methodical, structured basketball and more dynamic, up-tempo styles has become a point of discussion regarding entertainment value and fan engagement. The situation has also brought attention to communication patterns within professional sports organizations.
Any sort of an answer. She could have literally just said, I'm coaching the Indiana Fever and we're coaching against the Phoenix Mercury. I'm focused on the players on my team and stopping players on the other team. She could have given any answer. She could have given any answer in this, except she has said more positive words about DeWanna Bonner this season when she quit the team than she has about her point guard. Than she has about Lexi Hull, about Sophie Cunningham. Heck,
questions arose about the transparency and consistency of information regarding player availability and team decisions. Discrepancies between public statements and actual circumstances have contributed to skepticism about organizational communication practices. Comparisons have been drawn between different coaching approaches across the league, particularly regarding how various coaches handle player departures and media relations. Some coaches are noted for their direct, uncompromising approaches to player management and public communication, while others favor more diplomatic strategies that prioritize relationship preservation and public perception management.
About Sophie Cunningham. Heck, about Aaliyah Boston. Like, there's some praise towards Kelsey Mitchell, some. But, like, she talks more about Natasha Howard and Sydney Colson's impact than she does about Aaliyah Boston. Like, she's just a snake oil salesperson. She is going to say whatever the hell it takes the fans to get off her back and then do whatever the hell she wants. And you know what? I don't care necessarily if what she wanted wasn't watching paint dry.
The broader context includes discussions about veteran player expectations versus organizational priorities. Traditional WNBA culture and newer approaches to team building have created tension points regarding player treatment, roster decisions, and competitive standards. Some argue that accommodating veteran players regardless of performance sends problematic messages about organizational priorities. Free agency implications have also entered the conversation, with debates about whether organizational decisions might influence future player recruitment.
Watching paint dry. If it wasn't like watching paint dry. Heck, she was saying, we're in constant DeWanna Bonner's day-to-day. We're in communication with her. 2 days later, she's like, you know what? It comes out DeWanna Bonner is refusing to play for the Fever. And she comes out, well, actually, I've never talked to DeWanna Bonner. Like, just don't answer questions. Don't answer questions. Literally, it is, you can answer questions in I'm not talking. Other teams, when they're asked about players in the Caitlin Clark, literally go, we're not answering questions better. Like, she can literally just...
Different perspectives exist regarding whether displaying loyalty to former players attracts or deters potential signings, with some arguing that perceived organizational weakness could be more damaging than strict performance standards. The comparison between international basketball achievements and WNBA success has emerged as another discussion point. Questions about the relative value of different competitive experiences and how they should influence roster decisions reflect broader debates about talent evaluation and player value assessment. Team building philosophy differences have become apparent through various organizational approaches across the league.